Do not adjust your screens. I bought a smoke machine for Halloween, and it's too much for my tiny room. But because it is spooky season, I am going to do my best to hit up some non-new releases in the horror genre. Now, I just watched 2015's Tales of Halloween for the very first time. It's an anthology with a bunch of shorts, but are they any good? 10 stories are woven together by their shared theme of Halloween night in an American suburb, where ghouls, imps, aliens, and axe murderers appear for one night only to terrorize unsuspecting residents. Now, this series was a lot of fun to watch because each segment is typically not more than 15 minutes long. Now, there are a few that are stinkers, that feel sort of like a lot of buildup for very little or quick payoff. These also slightly tie in together, with several stories using crossover characters to loosely connect to the tales. Now, for me, the ones that are less than great include Grim Grinning Ghost, Ding Dong, and The Weak and the Wicked. They all have alliteration in there. But because they just don't have the payoff that's set up for it, or they're being obvious and lackluster, and sometimes just stupid. In Ding Dong, the idea is fun, and it is a little twisted, but even with some fun makeup and a dark idea, the story goes on too long and just didn't resonate with me. It's not that these are terrible or unwatchable, but in the greater context of the anthology, these are the weakest entries. But that being said, that leaves 7 stories that feature some sort of excellent makeup or practical effects, disturbing story arc, or just plain fun to watch. Now, the anthology starts off with a fairly gross entry called Sweet Tooth. There's some extremely visceral visuals, and while the story isn't freaky or scary, it does have a moment that's a bit unexpected. Plus, just the concept of someone overly obsessed with candy and what they do to satisfy that craving, it's nuts and enjoyable. Now, the episode titled Trick might be the darkest of them all. The story starts out giving us characters that come across as villains, and as all hell is breaking loose, the story pivots then and takes us in a whole new direction. I really wasn't prepared for what was showcased, but that distressing feeling, it's exactly the point. The episode is designed to disturb and unsettle by subverting our expectations. Now, not all of the stories are as dark or messed up as Trick. Some are designed to elicit a ton of laughs along with some dark themes. Now, a few of my favorites within this theme are called This Means War, Bad Seed, and The Ransom of Rusty Rex. Now, each contains decent gore and nasty visuals, but the mix of comedic situations helps to make them even more awesome. Bad Seed is cheesy and ridiculous, but that was the charm. I mean, when I think of campy and silly horror, that is the sort of story that comes to mind. And it's not as quite as stupid as Attack of the Killer Tomatoes level stupid, but it does incorporate absurdity with enjoyable kills. This Means War is a fun glimpse into the neighborhood rivalry theme. And kind of like with Christmas decorating, people can also get carried away with Halloween home decor. And this story focuses on neighbors with competing displays and the havoc that then ensues. And I also love the small commentary on mob mentality that's featured. It's not really addressed headlong, but does give us a look at the bloodthirsty craving a large group of people can create. And with The Ransom of Rusty Rex, there's an awesome scream from a dude in this. The whole setup is kooky, and at first it's a bit unexpected, and then it becomes rather predictable, but still wildly enjoyable. It's a very small cast, just like several of the entries within this anthology, but we don't need a bunch of people to execute this tale. And again, this is one of the most ridiculous stories, but it's also one of the best. I mean, there's a reason that horror comedy, it works so well when it's executed correctly. It taps into 2 deep emotions that seem like they should contradict, but instead complement each other to make the story more memorable, or at least engaging. Now, I was able to watch this on Prime in the US, not sure where it's available within other regions. The overall film, it's a pretty quick watch at just 97 minutes, but it feels even faster thanks to the collection of all the short stories rather than just one long narrative. And also, if you do watch the movie, pay attention to the crossover characters. And while it's not important for understanding, it is fun to see the subtle ties that one story will have with another. And another great thing about this anthology is that we get to see 10 different directors bringing their visions to the screen. Some of the more mainstream projects from a few of the directors include The Descent, Saw 2, and American Horror Story. So we definitely get a mix of ideas, styles, and presentations. And this is a fun entry into spooky season. And while it is not the scariest, goriest, or really even most captivating of anthologies, it does provide an hour and a half of unique and short stories that can make you laugh, squirm, and roll your eyes. So if you're looking for something that's not too heavy or not much of a time commitment, consider giving Tales of Halloween a go. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, obviously a ton of violence. I give Tales of Halloween 3.5 out of 5 couches. So, what are some spooky movies that you'd like me to review? I mean, there's no guarantee that I'm going to get to them, but I would definitely love the suggestions and I'll incorporate them when I can. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me. And please excuse all of the smoke. I'm dying here.